So Ruby, what we got for tonight?
For tonight, we have 4 basic questions. When to know when to hire a marketing specialist for your business. Number 2 is how you're phrasing your marketing, how positive or negative phrasing affects your marketing. Number 3 is when to know when to take a break.
Yes.
That's very, very, very important. And last but not least, how and time frames, how how to know when your marketing strategy is working or not working in terms of time.
Excellent. By the way, if you don't know Ruby, can you introduce yourself?
Well, I am, besides being a nurse, I am also a musician. I play bass for a band called Acozy, and I've been doing marketing for bands for about 10 years already, and it's been quite the experience.
And if you don't know who I am, my name is Angel Anderson. I'm a marketing manager based out of Brooksville, Florida. I'm also the host of Social Media Marketing Day. By the way, that's happening June 26th and 27th, so you should check it out. So the first question, you said, what was the first question again?
So we all been in this position.
Okay.
Now with this era, right? Everybody's trying to do things on their own, and you try to run some ads and stuff, right? And when it's a good time to ask for help, to find somebody to help.
Look, that's an excellent question. And a lot of people suffer from it. And you see a lot of people with the mentality that if I can do something to save some money, I'll do it, because who better to do it than myself? I gave birth to this project. There is also the same type of people that said, if I can learn something, I'll learn it and then I'll do it myself. But I want people to keep something in mind. Rome wasn't built in one day, and it wasn't built by one person. You need people. You need people in your team to grow faster. It doesn't mean that you have to. Obviously, you can do things on your own. The only thing you're doing is just delaying the results. Mm-hmm. So if you want to speed the process up, then I would suggest to look for a professional, because paying for training, it will, especially when you pay for training from the best of the best, it will shortcut your journey. If you pay for a professional to do, for example, like you asked, Facebook ad, it will speed the results, or it will speed how fast good ads are in the market. So at the end of the day, I like to say that you are buying time when you pay for a professional. And also, less headaches, less mistakes, because the professional, hopefully you pick somebody right, did it.
That's another.
Yes.
That could be even another question.
Correct.
There's a lot of people that say they know about marketing. Would you go about finding somebody that's specific to your needs? Like if you have a wine company, somebody that's worked with wine brands before, or somebody that's worked with bands before, what would you recommend?
There is a benefit to work with somebody that only works, for example, bands in your case. But also you're limiting yourself, because that means that that person's experience is bucks. And the beauty thing about the one thing that is nice about marketing is that you could be a band, but you can adapt things that car dealerships do, dental. So one advantage you can have from your competition is hiring somebody outside your niche to bring fresh ideas, so you can, because at the end of the day, you want to capture people's attention. Mm-hmm. So it's not necessarily about who you hire, but it's how they help you capture people's attention. Mm-hmm. So what's the second question, Ruby?
Phrasing.
Phrasing. Look, I love that question. But can you rephrase it again? Can you ask it again, if you don't mind, please? Whiskey and wine. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes. There's a way where you do a marketing campaign and you could go negative based on, you need this, you have to do this, because if not, just something bad is going to happen. Maybe that's might be an example. And there's another type of marketing that's focused more on happy thoughts and more like a service. I don't know if I'm explaining myself correctly.
So Yes, yes. One question that I ask people on my second meeting when we're building marketing campaigns is what label you want people to give you. And often people give me that weird look, but let me explain. People will judge you no matter what, even if you say, "Oh, I'm good, I don't care," and you will judge other people even if you don't want to admit it out loud, for good or bad. With that in mind, if you're a business owner and you depend from the public, what label you want the public to give you. For me, it's not, I don't want to be the guy that tells you you need to be the positive guy, you don't can say XYZ, because at the end of the day, it's up to your personality, how you want other people to see you. When I moved to Florida in 2017, I wanted people to see me as a professional and as somebody with a system. So I'll give you two examples. Every time I went to work with a video client, I said, I said, I have, this is a backup audio. Just in case that fail, I don't want you to look at me as an unprofessional guy. I got my stuff together. And I kept repeating it until my clients were repeating the exact same sentence to other people. You got to hire Angel because you don't have to do retakes. He always got backup software. When I talk to marketing people, I explain my four step process and the reason I use it. And eventually that came. But that was my intention, be a professional and somebody with a system. If you want to be seen as the happy guy, then communicate as a happy. If you don't mind the controversies, then communicate it. But you have to own your brand. And at the end of the day, everybody puts label. You can, whatever you put out there is what you're going to attract. So if you are putting content and you're not attracting the right clients, that means that you need to change the message. And you need to change how other people are seeing you because you are attracting the wrong people. At the end of the day, it's up to you, the client.
And I think, I don't know if you might agree, but some things come already with an image. Like in my industry, like you think sometimes of metal bands, and usually you think of this tough people looking badass, and that's their style. And then you think of maybe a trap or a rap singer, and you think chains and money, and that. So there's a certain image that goes with what you're doing, and you have to decide: do I want to stray from the path, or do I want to follow pretty much what
I'm tracking, and you are completely right. And some bands, some businesses can't step out of that image, and the reason is because they don't know how, or they are not aware that they're doing it. But the best advice I can give is to show, don't tell. Show people what you do, don't tell them what to do. And if you're going to do it, you might as well do it on a video, because if a picture is worth 1,000 words, a video is worth 1,000 pictures. Here's what I mean with that. If you're a nice person, if you're not a serious person, but they have that image of you, then show that you are a smiley person. Somebody caught you in a smiling on a joke, and instead of saying don't post that, let them share it. And that's how people start seeing you with a different image. You got to show people, don't tell people.
Yeah, I think a lot of straying from the path and doing things different comes with a lot of sometimes negative baggage, because if you're trying to do things too different, not everybody's going to receive it with open arms, right? Some people might be like, I don't like this guy because he's doing this different. But once you succeed at it, everybody's going to try to copy your system.
100%. But we got to be careful with copy and pasting. And we talk about copy and pasting marketing formulas down the road. What's the next question?
Oof, something I'm super guilty of is the need to actually take breaks, and how that encourages your creativity. Like in my personal situation, I am guilty a lot of not wanting to take breaks because I feel guilty taking the breaks because I could be productive. And that sometimes becomes overwhelming, at least to me, because when you're stuck in work, it just comes a time where your brain is not functioning, doesn't want to work. And that's when or actually, I don't even think that's when you need to take the break. I think before that, to avoid those moments.
So when you found yourself in that situation, you took a break, you felt recharged. Did you make a mental note to not wait next time until you feel the same way, or you still feeling guilty that you need to be more productive?
I think after I had a previous experience where I was too involved in something, and that started affecting my personal life a lot. My personal life with my different family members and stuff. So after that situation in my life happened, I decided to make a choice, a conscious decision where I was gonna take breaks at least once a week to kind of do something else. Go kayaking. I'm an adventurous person. I love hiking. I
Yeah.
love so I've with COVID I haven't, but you know
Yeah.
what I mean. I do that more often, and that I still feel guilty. I still feel like I'm not being productive, but I do it.
It's a personal choice. Everybody takes breaks differently. For me, it's not every weekend. It's once a month. For you, might be every weekend. It's a mindset. Is we have to be productive because we got things to get done. Um, for me, it was that I found myself dating my family and married to my business. So I was putting more hours into the business than to my family. And I started seeing people getting divorced and having problems, and I didn't want to go through that. I figured that if I'm working this hard, I want to take some time away from everything and go in an RV and adventure. So we try to go once a month and for a weekend, 3 days, 4 day stops. And that is wonderful. That doesn't mean that I don't check emails after the kids go to sleep or when they're doing something, but the 90% of the time I'm focused on them and maybe having a little bit of a whiskey just to take my mind off work. But I found that works for me. But that doesn't work for everybody. Not everybody can take vacation, but whatever it works, it's worth it. Whatever it works for you, it's worth to pursue. Because at the end of the day, can it wait? Whatever you have at home, can it wait? Or you have to get done right now today?
I think that comes a lot from a mentality I've seen that's been promoted a lot. That's the whole hustle mentality, and that type of mentality promotes not taking breaks until you're overwhelmed, you know. And
So for the upcoming future, we're going to talk about time management because I think people got it wrong. I'm a time management freak. I used to talk only about time management many years ago, but I think people got it wrong. The whole point about being more productive, in my opinion, and again, we can agree to disagree, is that you can achieve whatever you want to achieve in the fastest possible amount of time so you have the rest of the time to do whatever you want to do, whether it's kayaking or traveling or working more. But it's not for you to work, in my opinion, 12, 14 hours like we were used to working because I want to die young. With that said, my friend, that was the last question, right?
no,
What is the last question?
I wanted to say a little bit more about the breaks.
Yes,
before
go
we
ahead.
to
No,
the next question.
of course.
And that's something I would love to talk in a future episode is the excuse I hear a lot from a lot of talented friends that they say that they don't have the time to do the stuff they want, which I think it's not true, but it's a mindset a great excuse in my opinion that people put in their heads to not get stuff done.
Two tips so we don't go sidetracking on that.
But we'll talk about that in a future episode. When maybe time management, we can touch that.
Okay. Do a time inventory, and people will say, I don't have time. That's the first one, and eliminate time vampires. So meaning, if Jimmy walks to your office 15 times a day, he's robbing your time, he's the time vampire. You need to put limits to Jimmy to walk into your office. If he's calling 15 times a day just to say hi, something that is robbing your time. When you do the time inventory, what you're looking is things that are robbing your time. And then we talk about something else in a later date.
Last question. How do we know that time frame? How much times do we have to try a strategy to know if it works or if it doesn't?
Just like the personal label, in my opinion, that's also a choice on the business, your bandwidth, your budget, and your technical skill. Let me explain. From my point of view, what most people fail at is that they don't. It's good that you're posting online, or you're posting online. It's good that you're thinking about time management and productivity. But if you don't track what you do, how you know the progress you made? The same thing happens with marketing. You can adapt any framework, you can copy the best one, but how you know if it's working? How you know that you're gonna double think? So most people will say, I need to make more sales. And at the end of the day, that could be the end result. But in the meantime, the first step, what is that you want people to do? You want people to, for example, let's talk in your case, in the band. You want people that don't know the band to know the band. Then once they become, so that's one campaign. That's number one. If we do that selling, engagement, question, that's something completely different. If
brand
awareness, and then you silo each campaign. It doesn't mean that you can't run multiple campaigns, but my caution is that you have the bandwidth. So sometimes I tell people that are solopreneurs to run a campaign per week just so they can measure and track more properly. But going back, so if that is the aim, to let the world know that your band is here, then focus on awareness and how you can increase the reach and awareness. And that will be, it's not about sales. In this case, it's not about selling tickets or even your business. The same applies for a local mom and pop shop. If the local community doesn't know, how are you going to improve the sales? You got to work backwards. You got to let them know first, and then we work on the know, like, and trust. But to answer your question, I take I take a break for about 30 days a year, not consecutive, but what I do is I plan my next year marketing campaign. I also look what worked and what didn't work. I was having a conversation today with Sergio, who's going to be on Social Media Marketing en Español, and he does that on the monthly basis. Some other people I talk to, they do on the quarterly. It depends on your bandwidth, but the question is valid. How often? Here's what I will say. Make a calendar appointment and start with once a month. And if that's too much for you, change it to every 3 months. So you can measure you can stop for a day, look all your analytics. This is where my traffic is coming from. These are my most popular posts. And then you make adjustments, whether it's monthly, every 3 months. We do sprints. We do between 7 to 10 days on all the clients. But in reality, it's not a perfect time. The only reason we do it in 7 to 10 days is to speed things up. But you can do it every monthly, every once a year. It's really up to you.
Okay, sounds good.
With that said, I do have a question. This is a brand new project that Ruby and I decided to launch. We thought about naming it Wine and Whiskey, or Whiskey and Wine, and we would like to know what you think about that. The whole point is we're going to be talking about marketing. Ruby's going to bring some questions about bands and maybe other topics. But feel free to submit your question, right? We're going to take questions from the public. Anything else that I'm missing?
No, I think that's about it.
That's about it. With that said, my friend, I hope you're having
a great day.
Fantastic day. The best day ever.
Yes.
See you in the next video.
Cheers.